Year-over-year closed sales data across the entire Twin Cities metro. Metro-wide new construction sits at about 10%. That's a big volume jump of any large city in the metro. Then there's a group of cities that really aren't surging, but they're also not declining either. When you zoom in to more specific neighborhoods, one risk metric no one's talking about, at least not right now, that's going to be foreclosures. Where are buyers actually buying right now? In this video, I'm going to break down which Twin Cities suburbs are surging in 2026. My name is Travis Anderson. I work with both buyers and sellers across the Twin Cities. Let's dive into the data. Before we get started, here's the method. I went ahead and pulled year-over-year closed sales data across the entire Twin Cities metro, and I'm focusing on three categories. Number one, total closed sales. Number two, year-over-year growth. And then number three, how much of that market is actually new construction? Metro-wide new construction sits at about 10%. Now look, this is going to tell us something really important. Is a city growing because buyers want in, or because builders are just adding inventory? And near the end, I'm going to show you one risk metric no one's talking about, at least not right now. That's going to be foreclosures. There are a few areas here in the Twin Cities where they're starting to increase. Okay, first let's start with larger cities, those with more than 900 closed sales. Maple Grove actually had 1,200 closed sales last year. That's up 15% year over year. That's a big volume jump of any large city in the metro. Now, about 10% of those were new construction, right in line with the metro average. Now, this isn't a builder-driven surge. This is buyer demand. For buyers relocating here, Maple Grove appeals to people who want a fully built-out suburb, strong schools, good shopping, restaurants, and close access to Minneapolis for your commute. Now, it doesn't feel brand new. It's established, and buyers are still moving to Maple Grove. Now, the second highest growth year over year for large cities was actually Bloomington. Kind of surprised me. More than 1,000 closed sales, 8.4% year over year growth. Now, Bloomington has virtually zero new construction. For relocation buyers, it's really central to the Twin Cities, home of the Mall of America, home of our local airport, easy commute to either downtown. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few larger cities that actually lost momentum. Lakeville and Blaine. Both were right around 1,000 sales, and both were down roughly 9% year over year. Now, Lakeville came in at 24% new construction, while Blaine was 18%. These are still very popular suburbs, but the data suggests demand just isn't accelerating right now. Even with 2 times the metro-wide average of new builds, buyers are still choosing other areas. Woodbury, Plymouth, and Lake Minnetonka are all very large cities, and they had very little change year over year. Really stable markets that have been stable for quite some time. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Mid-sized cities with sales between 400 and 900, some of them are seeing the strongest growth in buyer demand. You have cities like St. Michael, 466 sales, that was up 22% year over year, and 41% of those sales were new construction. For these consumers here, it's what I'd call a growth corridor. Newer homes, more space, typically a little lower price points. The trade-off, of course, is going to be your commute. Now compare that to St. Louis Park, 780 sales, that was up 17%, virtually no new construction. The demand driven is almost entirely by location, really close to Minneapolis, jobs, amenities. Buyers are prioritizing convenience over the new construction. And then you've got a place like Elk River, up 15% year over year. It tends to attract buyers who are looking for more affordability, maybe a little bit more space, with hybrid or remote flexibility. Now, these cities all share one thing in common, it's momentum. Buyers are actively choosing them, and when you see double-digit growth at this volume, it's real movement. Golden Valley and Minneapolis, Camden both came in at about 15% year over year. These are mid-sized areas that typically see steady demand, so a drop at that level stands out, likely caused by long-term homeowners unwilling to move over buyers' demand falling. Then there's a group of cities that really aren't surging, but they're also not declining either. We've got Eagan, Rosemount, Prairie, Edina, all holding steady. They're very mature markets, Buyers already know them, demand is steady, and growth tends to be more predictable. Stable doesn't mean weak, it just means established. Now, surprising this list is Rosemount. Surprising that it's not an increase in sales because of how much new construction there is. 40% of the sales in Rosemount are also new construction. Compare that with Eagan, Edina, Eden, Prairie. Less than 5% of those cities are new construction. Now, speaking of new construction booms, besides Rosemount, let's look at cities where 40 to 60% of all the sales last year were brand new homes. We've got cities like Delano, Victoria, St. Michael, Rogers, Corcoran. These are outer ring suburbs where builders are very active. For those considering the area here, they often offer newer homes, larger lots, and growing communities, usually with longer commutes. But here's where the split really matters. Delano, Victoria, and St. Michael are all growing around 25% while adding that new construction. That tells you that demand is keeping up. Now, cities like Rogers and Corcoran, they have similar levels of new construction, but the sales volume is actually down 10%. Now, that suggests that supply is growing faster than the demand. This doesn't mean avoid these areas at all. In some cases, it creates that opportunity, more inventory, builder incentives, and more negotiating power. Now let's talk about foreclosures. Metro-wide, they're sitting at 1%, which is very healthy. But when you zoom in to more specific neighborhoods, we're seeing some that are 4 or 5 times that number. Both are suburbs or areas within St. Paul and Minneapolis proper. So in Minneapolis, we're talking about the Phillips neighborhood and the Near North neighborhood. And in St. Paul, we're talking about the Thomas Dale neighborhood and the Summit University. Now, for you local buyers here, it doesn't automatically mean avoid the areas. Sometimes it creates opportunity for you to get a better price. But higher distressed rates obviously can mean more volatility, longer resale timelines, and sometimes a neighborhood that's changing, not always for the better. Very localized, it's not at all citywide, but it is something worth understanding before you choose to buy a home. Now here's really what this data tells us. The Twin Cities isn't one market, it's like 30 different stories. Some cities are surging, some are stable, some are expanding pretty quickly with new construction, and some are worth watching even more closely. Now the data can tell you where buyers are moving, and look, if you have questions about coming here to the Twin Cities, I'm happy to help with that. My name, of course, is Travis Anderson, and as always, all my best to you and yours.